Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to another podcast on the Brewster Broadcasting Network. This is Ted Schmidt, GM of the California Crusaders, and what I have this time is essentially kind of a bonus or extra podcast. Basically, what happens is by the time we're done talking about free agency and trades in the off season, we generally end up having a decent amount of kind of banter and ideas about what's going to happen in the season. And so this year, rather than just having to edit that out of the previous podcast, I decided to kind of save it and put together like an extra one where we talk about some predictions. So joining me at various points, although not really talking to each other, will be Randy Weigand of the San Fernando Bears, not Havana Sugar Kings, the San Fernando Bears, and Tyler Simmons of the Jacksonville Hurricanes. We will start with Randy Weigand, and I will get his division winner and wildcard predictions for the upcoming season. Also, we had planned on doing things like talking about perhaps predicting the award winners or stuff like that, but then decided it was a little bit too difficult, so just kind of went for general ideas of maybe breakout players or hot takes or anything like that. And we'll discover that at the time of the recording of this, I have absolutely no idea who Ken Bates is, and that was always fun to find out that someone's really excited about a player that you have no clue even exists. But that's okay, so let's get going. So I want to hear your picks for division winners.
First, hold on. I gotta pull up the actual divisions now because
I don't know what the hell they are anymore.
Yeah. All right, so I guess Heartland. I think it's going to be. I think Yellow Springs is going to come back to the pack a little bit, and I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to say Omaha. I think Omaha roars up and takes the division in a close-fought battle.
Really? Okay.
Really?
You got Omaha for the Heartland.
I got Omaha. But I do think both Yellow Springs and Twin Cities make the playoffs.
How many wild cards do we have now?
3.
So there's 3 wild cards. Okay.
And I think 2 of them go to the Heartland. Which, yes, Ron, this will give you more fuel for the Heartland is still the best division of baseball, even with the genius leaving.
So you got, Twin Cities last year's performance was confusing to me. I thought they should have been a lot better.
So do I, and I think they will be.
I still give this to Yellow Springs. I think either of those other 2 teams have a chance, but I just think Yellow Springs looks like a better team still.
I'm worried that pitching is gonna catch up to them.
Still Lelouch Dogface at the top, and decent guys after that. So they can hit, man. Can they hit? So can those other teams. I think this is close, but I'm just going to go with Yellow Springs. I'll come back to wild cards. What do you think about our Pacific Division? It's going to be a big shock to us all who you pick here.
Well, me.
Yeah.
I mean, because in all fairness, using a non-biased point of view, I returned literally every single player from the team that won the championship last year. In fact, I add Lacaz and Wareham, who missed September and October.
The thing is, you like your pitching way better than most of the league does, but I have to at least admit that it's effective at this point. It's not great, but it's effective. And
but also the key thing with mine is I have literally 3 players that are 30 years old, and nobody is older than that.
No, well, the other thing is your offense is so much better than mine is, and it's better than Long Beach's is, and their pitching really has nothing to scare you with comparatively. So I think while I probably have better pitching than either one of you, I have a very average offense, and yours is just tremendous. So,
which is funny because last year, if you look, my offense was good but not great as far as performance-wise.
Yeah, but again, parks that you're playing and random luck and other stuff. You just have a more talented team. So who you got in the Frontier then?
Sorry, did you? Who are you? Are you picking me for that one?
I'm picking you. Yeah.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I'm more worried about you than I am Long Beach. If that makes you feel any better.
I don't know. I don't know what I am last year because I thought it was a lot. I don't know what I am this year because I thought it'd be a lot better last year and I wasn't, and I don't know how this whole park change is going to affect me. So I'm hoping. I don't know what I am. I really don't.
And in this one, in the Frontier, Calgary by double-digit games. I don't think this division is close.
I think Seattle underachieved last year, and they've surprised me before. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them either win or give Calgary a run for their money. But yeah, it's Calgary. Like I'm with you. I don't know that it's as big of, but Actually, you know what? Across the, I can't look at another division and see one that I'm more confident in picking a winner in than this one. So yeah.
Well, in the frick, yeah, I feel pretty confident in saying Vegas is going to win the Sun Belt by a giant margin.
Oh yeah. Okay, right. I'm so not used to these teams yet. Okay, who you got for the other wild card then? Who's your third wild card?
You.
Interesting. I think the most likely one is Long Beach or me. Unless the only thing that could happen is we still are fairly heavily divisional. So let's say Seattle's kind of good, and Edmonton and Boise and Vancouver all end up being real bad.
See, the thing is, I don't think Edmonton's going to be real bad this year. I think they'll be in that 75
and I don't think
to
Boise's
80.
going to be real bad, and I don't think Vancouver's going to be real bad. So,
I think they're all. I think they're all in that 75 to 80. Like, not contending by any means,
right.
but
Honestly, like the Pacific could put 2 wild cards in because there's a chance that Valencia and Hawaii are both really bad.
I think there's more than a chance that they're really bad.
And the Heartland, I don't see a team in there that I would call really bad.
I
Des
think
Moines
Madison.
had bad records, and
I think Madison might. They could be. This could be a cliff year for them.
Yeah, but both of those guys are also teams that, like, if they hadn't been in the Heartland the last 4 or 5 years, could have put up much better records. So
but unfortunately for them, they're still in the
Heartland. Yeah, but So I don't know. I'm mostly with you. I don't actually think I'm gonna. I think we differ on me versus Long Beach for the other wild card, but that's pretty much where we're going. Do you want to take a crack at the Johnson, or do you want to?
Sure. I'm gonna say Rockville for the Atlantic.
They're so good, right? Like their pitching is amazing. Their bullpen's great. They've got bats all over the place. They're young.
I think I said it after. I don't know if I told it to Aaron privately or if I posted it, but even before the first round last year, Rockville was the one team out of either league that I did not want to face.
The thing is that Montreal still has a ton of offense. And Charm City's the same team they were last year, and I don't know how they won 106 games last year, but they did.
Carlton Winston.
Yeah, he's really good.
And now really rich.
Yeah. So I don't think I think my pick would also be Rockville, but I have no reason to. There's no reason I couldn't see one of the other 2 teams taking it. We already got your Sun Belt pick, and I agree. I think Phoenix, if they hadn't run into... If Ignacio Rodriguez was still a great starter, I think that Phoenix might have a lot more chance, but they need some starting pitching help, even though they've got a couple other guys.
The heist. The swindle. The Irod swindle.
I love that. It's just injuries, man. So who do you got in the Southeast?
Jacksonville. Somehow. Jacksonville.
Yeah, they can hit, man, and they can pitch. And that's... I don't know. If you want to give me a division where I am the least confident, that might be it.
Yep. This and the Heartland are by far. Now, I think it's more New Orleans than Louisville.
I do too. New Orleans is really good, and as much as I think Nigel's a great guy, when you got a GM change on a team, you never know how they're going to go the next year. And Louisville lost a bit. They were lots of really good parts, and they lost a bit in expansion.
But I think this
have enough talent to win it all too. So
this and the Heartland are the 2 toughest divisions, with the Atlantic being a half tick behind to pick. I think the other 3 are fairly easy. No offense, but
that's a tough group to tell right now. I really don't know. It's going to be injuries, right? We're trying to pick this, but it's going to be injuries that determine what's happening.
Yeah, I know you're high on Stever, but I think I would be stunned.
I don't think he thinks he's going to make the playoffs.
No, he's not. He's not.
His team could maybe as a wild card somewhere else, but in that division, yikes.
And especially when you factor in, because he's got 2 teams in the Atlantic that are going to be wild card contenders. Whoever doesn't win between Montreal, Charm City, and Rockville. I don't think anybody in the Sun Belt will be. But
and I almost wonder if the Southeast is going to beat themselves up entirely. I don't see how they can put in 2 wild cards. They're too good. They're just going to beat the shit out of each other.
Poor Nashville. Poor Brett.
Except for Nashville. Nashville's going to lose like 120 games.
My buddy Brett, I feel bad for him. Brett, I love you, buddy, but this could be, and they do have.
They're better.
Yeah, and they do have the semblance of the plan. You can see it taking shape, but it's not going to be in 2035.
Well, that's ugly. All right, so who do you got for wild cards?
Nobody out of the Sun Belt can tell you that right now.
What if one of those teams is kind of good and the other ones are all just really bad? No, they're not, though. Mexico City's decent.
I would not be surprised if there's one team over 500 in that division.
I don't know. I think Mexico City really underperformed last year and could be a good deal better. I think Phoenix is. I don't know, man. I mean, if they just have an amazing BABIP year, they could hit 5,000 home runs.
Yeah, but for the wild cards, I wrote off Charm City last year. I said they wouldn't even make the playoffs, and well, they kicked my ass, so I'm hesitant to do it again. But I'm going to go with New Orleans. I'm going to go with Montreal. So this means I'm leaving either Charm City or Louisville out of the playoffs. I'm going to go with Louisville. I think that pitching is just too good.
I'm probably going to put in Montreal and Charm City just because I was so wrong about Charm City last year. But also, I honestly think the Southeast might just beat the crap out of each other so much they can't put two wild cards in.
Yeah, and so is it going to be Louisville or New Orleans?
I like New Orleans a little better. Yeah, I give it to Jacksonville and put New Orleans as the wild card, and then take Charm City and Montreal. All right, well that was fun. Let's get to, you know what? Trying to predict all the awards is impossible, and
especially Rookie of the Year. That's just
yeah. Do you got anybody that you're hot on? Like anybody that you're like, look out for this guy this year, or somebody who you think?
Can I say Bobby Lynch? No.
No, you can't.
I mean, let me see. I actually have let me look at my pitching spreadsheet that I have open and see if there's anybody that I feel was horrifically underrated. Maybe a guy like Ken Bates from Vegas.
I don't even know who that is.
One of Matt's random young guys. He actually, I think, led the Johnson and Whip last year.
Where even is this guy?
Ken Bates. I think he actually got traded. I think he was actually just traded in the last sim.
Damn it! Now I'm looking at the wrong team. You're killing me.
Well, hold on, I think maybe. Hold on. Let me look at the.
So we're not making good listening right now.
Well, people can deal with it. Oh, I think he's in Brooklyn. Yes, he got traded for Henry Rechtenberg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a guy. If you're looking, I don't know if he's necessarily going to be a Nebraska contender, but left-handed, 9.67 with 10.88 pitches, 23 years old. Last year had an ERA of 3.73 with a WHIP of 1.05, which was good enough to lead the league.
I think I think he got lucky. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see.
I disagree with your Ken Bates.
You disagree with my Ken Bates?
I disagree with my Ken Bates. I'm doubling down on my failed prediction from last year because I'm smart. I am going with Cristobal Hernandez finally wins in Nebraska.
Cristobal Hernandez is a very good pitcher.
He is the best pitcher in the league that does not get paid attention to.
I agree. And how isn't he only getting like $7 million a year, which is just bonkers.
So the other thing about him is Calgary is one of the toughest parks to pitch in the league, and it didn't get recognition for a while because it was torn up it was just crammed in with all these pitchers parks. But like his road splits, which you can not currently see, because damn it.
OTP's dumb.
Yeah, they were just off the charts better. Like his road record was the Nebraska last year.
Yeah. Oh, so he's getting 8.3 and 8.5, but he has $1.5 million if he throws 150 innings. So he's basically.
Sorry.
So he's basically getting $10 million a year.
Yeah, he's super good. That's just a great deal for them. So I am. That's.
Yeah. Where, I don't think. I mean, his problem is he's stuck in a league with Bobby Lynch and Miguel Ramos.
I don't know, man. He's super good though.
Not to mention Chris Kelly. Not to mention Chris Kelly and Kevin Morales.
I know the top end pitchers right now are so disgustingly good.
And now Feliciano Rafael, because I came in there just to make it even more fun.
So my other big hot take on somebody is Augie Placencia. I think he is. If he's, it all depends on how bad he is in the outfield. But if he's not bad in the outfield, I think I'm looking at. I don't know. We will give him. I don't know. 340 batting average. That's what I bet you get out of Augie.
I've got a. My own one is Mitch Dalrymple is top 3 in the Silk this year.
I think that's. I don't think you're really going out on a limb there. Like full season with the stats he put up, he would have won it last year. So I think that's a pretty good call. Although he's currently got him listed as a right fielder, which, I guess, he's not a great center fielder. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, what a heck of a hitter though. So, all right. Well, I think we gave some there's some interesting random short hot takes on dumb stuff and some predictions. So, thanks for those. Good to have you, Randy. Thanks for all your help.
No worries, man.
So that concludes the Randy Weigand portion of the podcast. Next, we'll have Tyler Simmons give some of his ideas over the same things, and you all get to listen to me repeat myself, which will be tremendously fun, I'm sure. And as you will hear in this next part, Tyler, like Randy and I, has absolutely no idea what teams are in what divisions, with realignment making idiots out of all of us. Lastly, you'll get to hear me find out about the Reese Wareham trade weeks before it happened. The holdup was San Fernando getting him to agree to a contract extension, but I, of course, took so long to publish this that's old news. So without further ado, Tyler Simmons, everybody. So I'm putting you on the spot now. For your division, let me pull up the standings here. And who do you think, Tyler Simmons, wins the JL Atlantic?
Me.
You're not in the JL Atlantic.
Oh, I'm not in the jail. I'm in the south, the southeast now.
My team's so good. I'm gonna win divisions I'm not in.
I'm gonna win every division. I'm just so used to being in the JL Atlantic. Say JL Atlantic. I'm like, I'm gonna win the JL Atlantic.
Yep. No, that's tough. No, we just This was fun when I did it with Randy. We were like, who's in that division?
Who's in the jail? Okay, Brooklyn, Montreal, Atlantic City, Rockville, Charm City. Rockville's gonna win the jail Atlantic.
That's. Oh, you know what? Randy decided to be a squirrely jerk, and oh no, he said Rockville. I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, and that's what I had too. I don't think that it would be out of the ordinary. Like Montreal could win easily, and I don't know how Charm City won 100+ games last year, but clearly they could, and they could do it again. But on paper, Rockville's just a complete team.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Montreal. Yeah, I think. We were talking about Allen earlier. I don't know what Allen sees that makes him think he's going to be at the top of that division. That's 3 very, very good teams.
Right. And it's not that his team's bad. It's that those teams are very, Rockville they just look so good right now that I don't want to compete with them. And that's why I was, a little bit down on the Brooklyn moves when we talked earlier. Okay, but so you got Rockville there. What do you think about the old Southeast? It is now your division.
No, I will win that division, at least this year.
That is also what Randy had. So you guys are matching up again.
Yeah, I feel like. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You first.
I was just gonna say, Jim's always really good with New Orleans. And obviously Stever coming back to Huntsville scares me for the future. But I think this year I've got enough hitting talent and just enough pitching talent, like always, just barely enough.
So this is another one where I'm picking you, but I also can see a path for Louisville to win. I can see a path for New Orleans to win. And if you all get destroyed by injuries, maybe Huntsville, but probably not. Stever's a little higher on his team, but he also admitted when we were doing a podcast the other day that he is just not that familiar with the rest of the league yet. So I think we've had some ratings drift upwards in the Stars. So I wonder how much he's
overrating his team. Yeah, right. I don't think they're ready this year. Yeah. Louisville could be tough. I just don't know. I mean, again,
the GM change just makes it so tough to tell the direction. I think you got your offense is just so good, and you've got the endless barrage of rickety number 3 starters, and that's plenty good with your offense.
And we're adding more offense.
Oh Lord. It's fine. Are you taking it out of the frick?
Yes.
Even better. You're taking it out of
And
my division.
am I taking it out of your division? Yeah, I am taking it out of your division
This
too.
just keeps getting better.
I'm picking up Wareham.
Oh, you know what? Randy was bothering me about this earlier that he was going to give me more to write about, but suckers, you didn't get it done in time.
We technically did, but we couldn't put it through because I made him extend him before we do the trade, so I got to wait for him to officially accept the extension before we'll post the trade.
Gotcha. Well, this is kind of a hot take preview if you guys are good on it. Like, what are you? Can I ask you what you're sending back? Is that all right? You can not tell me. That's you want to wait.
I'm trading him basically everything. I'm trading him my 3 best prospects, and he's trading me back Wareham and one of his 2 best hitting prospects, and another arm, but not really an impressive arm. But
this is good for me for right now. I'm okay with this. This is fine.
Yeah. So the biggest thing would be Stromberg is probably the closest to being ready, but he's still a few years away.
Yeah. What do you think of looking at the Atlantic and looking at the Southeast back to trying to predict stuff? We both mentioned how there seems to be a clear front runner. Which one of those do you think is a more murky picture? Like, in terms of which one has is the number 2 and the number 3 team more likely to just not surprise you, but jump over the.
I would probably say the Southeast, just because I just don't know what Louisville's going to do, and I'm always scared with New Orleans. When I saw that they were in our division, I was really kind of bummed about that. Now,
Team's always good.
Yeah.
You don't want to look like. And the other thing is, just because I guess I shouldn't say he's always good. He's always competing. There are other good GMs who just don't mind going through a rebuild cycle, and I would much rather be in a division with a GM that is totally fine with tanking it for a few years, because I don't have to win the division every time. I'm perfectly happy cranking along with my 85 to 95 wins, but it's when you got somebody that just never goes away like New Orleans, it's just it's upsetting, or at least stressful. So a division I think that is not murky at all this year is the Sun Belt, right?
No, I wish I could say that Mexico City's going to be a threat, but I think it's just Vegas. It's Vegas all the way.
Yeah. And that's what everyone else had. Phoenix could just have everybody hit. That's possible. Could happen. Mexico City's better than the team that they played than they showed last year. That was weird.
Yeah, I think they're a really good team. They're a team that could potentially make the playoffs this year.
Well, let's move on to that. Who do you have for your wild cards?
We're gonna have 3 wild cards.
Right.
Is that how the setup is?
That's what I believe in. That's what Randy told me. I didn't look at it at all. I just believed him. I'm on the governing board, but whatever.
6. It makes sense. There'd be 6 teams. We had 2 champions and 4 wild cards. Man, the wild cards are gonna be rough. Oh my gosh. I would say Mexico City, Louisville, and New Orleans, I guess, would be my 3 wild card teams. That's tough. I don't know. Charm City, I don't know. I'm just kind of picking Mexico City as more of a surprise team. Charm City is really good. Montreal's really good. I mean, they're both teams that could make the playoffs. I'm not trying to knock on them. Oh, I think they're really good teams. I'm just kind of going for the hot take with Mexico City.
And I think that's not an unreasonable take on Mexico, because they could easily beat up the rest of their, the rest of their division's not as frightening. Speaking of teams in bad shape for the rest of their division, and everybody's tired of hearing this, so I talked about it with Randy, but man, Nashville, that is just a bad place to be this year.
Ever since, who was the GM that was with them when they were Halifax?
Which one?
Well, when they were in the playoffs, right around 2022 to 2025, 26.
Oh man, I forget. He's a great guy too.
Was a really solid GM. Was a guy that had been there for a few seasons. He'd been in the league for a long time too, right? I think he was with Chicago before.
That I don't know.
But anyway, ever since he's left, they've just been just awful.
they've got a great farm system now. Like
Yeah.
they could be good in a few years, but this year is just like the sad thing about it. I like to see historically bad things. I think they're entertaining and great, and also historically good, but historically bad can be funny. And if this was Nashville from like 2 years ago, and you put them in this division with these teams, oh, it would have been a bloodbath. They could have lost 140 games.
Oh, yeah, man, that team a couple of years ago was.
Like, they're a little better now, which is kind of a shame. It's not often you get to see somebody, where like the over on. I mean, like this year, I would say the over. I have no problem predicting 100 losses for Nashville this year, and that's not something that you do lightly. But a couple of years ago, I could have put the over under at like 115.
Yeah,
it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the league that you may not know as much about. What do you think about a winner for the Heartland?
Hold on a second. I got to go back to the standings page. I was looking at Nashville. Oh yeah, it's again, Twin Cities and Omaha and Madison are always or not always, but they've been solid teams the last couple of years. But you got to go with Ron and Yellow Springs. They're going to be
so that's what I
the
picked too.
favorite.
Randy decided to go with Omaha because he's always he's that guy that's got to have one he can't pick the obvious one, so he's at least once or twice. I'm just stating this poorly. We need to stop recording. So you got Yellow Springs there. What about my division? Who are you going with?
I think it's going to be between you and Sanford. It's going to be you, San Fernando, Long Beach. I'm going to go with Long Beach this year. I think Long Beach is going to.
Really?
I think they're going to. I don't know why I'm picking Long Beach over either one of you guys. I'm picking them over the reigning champions.
Well, I don't mind
a team that's been a playoff contender for a long time. I think Randy's willing to build more for the future, like he's showing with this trade of Wareham, to continue to build for the future. Maybe this year is a year where he tries to coast on a good team and trade away some of the, solid pieces, but maybe not his top players, and it is just enough to keep him from winning the division. I think like you, he's somebody that's okay with just making the playoffs.
Because I went with San Fernando, and Randy obviously went with his own team. So I got a couple homers with you guys, just picking your own team.
Yeah.
Which if I was as good as you guys, I would probably also do. And who do you have in the frontier?
Calgary is the one that you would think. I don't know. I'm going to say Calgary just because I don't have the guts to say that everything's going to come together for Edmonton and all those guys are going to come up and hit, and Ed Lynch is going to continue to be the best pitcher in baseball, and they would win it. I'd say Calgary, I guess, this year.
Yeah, the only way I can see Edmonton doing it this year is if they make some trades. Like if they've got too many outfielders, and if they can find a match to get say a number 2 starter and convert one of those outfielders into some up the middle middle infield guy that's a same level of talent, then they've got a shot. But I think they're probably still next year or the year after. I think Seattle really underachieved last year. None of these teams are bad though. Like Vancouver's kind of in that crappy middle ground that's hard to be in, but they're not a bad team. Boise's not bad. These expansion teams this time aren't bad. They're not good teams, but they're not bad. But yeah, I also have Calgary. The division winners are unfortunately kind of not real hard to go with overall this time around. What do you have for wild cards over here?
I'm gonna pick Twin Cities, San Fernando, and California.
So you think our division can put in 2?
I think your division's gonna put in 3.
No, you have 2 wild cards though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like that because I think it's the second wild card. It's how I'm getting in this year. Hawaii, luckily for me, this year is in bad shape, but they've got a future, and it all kind of comes down to Valencia. Valencia is better than I thought they were, and if they start heating up the third place and second place team in this division a little bit. They could be tough. Because that Heartland division, even losing Louisville, is still so strong. Omaha's great. Omaha's getting better. I don't know what happened in Twin Cities last year. Like they should. I don't know why they were a bad team. It makes no sense to me. They should be really good and competitive. It may just be that division was so tough. So I don't know. I think the wild cards are just, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think getting rid of Louisville is going to help Twin Cities quite a bit.
Yeah. Any other big kind of hot takes or players you're excited about or something you want to see happen this year? Ambush you with this with no preparation.
Yeah, quite honestly, I haven't been able to really look at a young prospect that's coming up that could be really good. I haven't had a chance to. I've just haven't been able to look at all the things outside of kind of my team and the potential trades and signings and things like that affect me.
All right,
I haven't really had a chance to.
Let's play a different game then. I will give you two players. You tell me who has a better year. And if you want some help, just go to the reports and info minor league system rankings, and that's what I'm sitting at. So, first overall prospect in the game, Luis. I believe he's also a love machine, Costello for Edmonton, or Angel Zalapa for Valencia. Which one of them has a bigger impact this year?
Okay.
Similar teams, right? They're both kind of in a building and probably not going to do a whole lot. Both great players.
I'm going to go with, I think the love machine is going to have the bigger impact. I like the fact that he can be a Gold Glove defender and could be a potential, Puckett winner at the position.
So I'm going the other way. I'm taking Zalapa, and basically it's because I think Zalapa will play. And I'm not convinced that Costello will play. Although, you know what? Maybe Zalapa won't. He has a little ways more to go in development, and he was only in Double-A last year. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm still taking Zalapa. I'm sticking to my guns. Okay, let's go over to, let's try to find two players that are on. Oh man, I should have planned more for this. Everybody's just sitting here listening to me, waiting for me to stop being an idiot. There's nobody good enough. There's nobody good enough to compare to Puckett's kid. I was going to try to find somebody that, does Chip Puckett matter more for Rockville than someone else does? But I got nothing. All right. So we're just going to have to go with Chip Puckett for Rockville or Nude Zietler for me.
I'll go with Nude because he's a pitcher in California. I know. I mean, how can I go against that?
Awesome. We are not agreeing. I'm going with Chip because I think he'll get more playing time, and I know he probably will because I don't know that I need to bring Zietler up. Zietler will be on the roster to start the year. I just don't know what I'm going to do with him. On the other hand, I don't know how much impact Chip can have because that team's so loaded. Like, will he be noticeable? It's kind of
who's their second baseman?
It's not him. He's their shortstop.
He's going to play shortstop?
Yeah, or at least according to what I'm looking at. It could be wrong. It's this early. Who knows what roles he's got for him. All right, we'll do one last one. Let's find two players that we both are in here. Find a player in here that is rated in the top 20 and you think really shouldn't be there and will not have a great career. Or at least likely. Like the guy that you look at and you go, you know what, I don't know that he belongs there. I know, I'm ambushing you. I've already got mine. I'm cheating.
Vito Stromberg. No, I'm just kidding. I actually really like Stromberg. So we're talking top 20, somebody that shouldn't be here.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly 20, but somebody that you look
somewhere
at and go
there.
like,
Yeah, sure.
Like no way that guy matters like the game thinks he will.
It's got to be a pitcher, right? The pitchers are always screwy.
Man, there's some good freaking players. I'm getting jealous just looking at this stuff.
I'm gonna say the guy who's gonna have the least impact in the top 20, 25 players will be Lee Morgan for Hawaii.
Where's Lee Morgan?
He's
there he is.
19 or 18.
Okay.
He's got 977.
Interesting.
And
really interesting.
I mean, it's not. There's a lot of pretty good. The ratings are a lot better in 19 than were in 18. I think. I'm sure there's another pitcher in there that maybe is more of a reliever type, but just going off of their ratings, that's kind of a borderline for a right-handed pitcher. I mean, if he ends up being 977, he could end up being a number 3. He could be a number 2. He could barely be worth putting in the rotation. But the one thing that I worry about is that changeup, because he doesn't have another third pitch. So again, he's a pitcher with a 1 changeup, and does that changeup ever develop? And if it doesn't, he's a right-handed reliever who's not all that special.
So the greatest thing about this is you picked the other half of the trade return that sent Morgan to Hawaii with Charlie Ironknife.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And he's my pick. So poor Bishki is just sitting here. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but Mike, who's a great guy, is sitting here wondering why, if he's even listening, why we are hating on his players. And I think it's through no fault of his own. I actually, I honestly, if I had to guess, I think one of them probably works out fine, and maybe both of them, because Ironknife is finally starting to develop after not doing anything for so long. But on the other hand, he is pretty darn old to have those ratings.
That's true. I mean, to be 5.53 at 21, that's quite a ways off, and to need 5 points of development in that knuckleball.
He has had 3 full seasons in the minors, I believe, without any injuries. Like, no major missing time. And he has added 2 points of stuff, and like 2 points if you count the -1 from the version change. So, yep, and 1 point of control. So, that's frightening. But you know what? Maybe they'll all work out fine.
Yeah, and he is only 21, though. I mean, 21 is old for those ratings, but
it's got room. It's 23 is when you just go, nope, it's not going to happen. That's what I do. And you just, you're like, not going to happen. But and you can see some players take some big jumps. Like he could be, like 8.75 at the end of this year. But it happens all the time. Okay.
It is kind of interesting looking at this list. The lists look a little bit better than they did in previous versions.
Like, when I brought this question up, I thought we were gonna just cherry pick some stuff off the top, but this is considerably better. It's not like overweighting old guys like it did constantly before, or like old quad A players. I made up some dumb hot take games, and we have some predictions. So thanks for being here for this, Tyler. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't offer more insight.
Oh no, it's okay. I've completely ambushed you with this entirely because I wanted to do something besides this the other stuff we talked about. I hope everybody had fun, and I will have more boring stuff to talk about to you later.
Thanks for having me.